What's up, guys? So we're back with some more NFL news, and this time it involves one of my favorite all-time players in Steve Smith Sr., who was a dog on the field throughout his 16-year NFL career. Anyways, this beef with Steve involves him and another Panthers great in Cam Newton, and it all stems from comments Cam made recently while in the past couple weeks on First Take, and then most recently while on Travis Hunter's podcast. So with that said, I'm going to play you the clips of what Cam Newton said and then Steve Smith Sr.'s response to his former Panthers QB.
It doesn't matter. It pales in comparison to a championship. We've got a former league MVP right here on the set right now in Cam. I ask you, Cam, if you could give back that league MVP for a Super Bowl championship, would you do it?
Nope.
Oh.
Really?
Really?
Wow.
Because you have to ask it through this lens. That was a very journalistic viewpoint or vantage point or response, Stephen A. I'll ask you this question, and, just to pose this thought. What's more important, impact or championships? You look at a guy like Allen Iverson, or you stood up on the table and blah, 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 blah. Everybody's not going to be Michael Jordan. Everybody's not going to be Patrick Mahomes. Everybody's not going to be these individuals who have the luxury of saying, hey, I not only dominated this sport, but I also have championships to back it. Like, let me remind you, Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. Respectfully, Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. So, yes, when you look at those guys and you say, okay, what's more important? Would you have preferred to win a Super Bowl? I think that's the humble approach, but if we're being honest, the impact of you holding yourself accountable to say everybody has a responsibility to do. And you can say as an MVP award winner or an All-American, you've held yourself or you've held your end of the bargain down. And that's what it really comes down to for me. I know that's not the popular pick. I'm trying to be popularized. But my take is I'm taking individual success because I did my job. Football is not about one guy trying to do 11 jobs. Mm-hmm. It's 11 guys doing one job. And if everybody does their job best, famous words of our coach, Belichick, just do your job.
Just do it.
When I was the first pick, I went into a locker room of losers.
How did you handle the pressure of being the top pick?
Let's put it in perspective. You're the top pick because what?
Where you play?
No. You're looking at it from a personal situation. I'm talking about from the professional situation. You're the top pick because that was the worst team in the NFL the year before. For me, I wanted to be the number one pick. You could potentially be the first pick, but bro, you have no way of impacting the game like a quarterback does. You can lock down the number one receiver. You can make impact plays on offense all you want, but it's still not like a quarterback. My issue is when I was the first pick, I went into a locker room of losers. Guys didn't know how to win. Guys didn't know how to prepare. It was a culture shock for me. The games don't mean a lot to a lot of people in the league like you would expect. It's just money. Not everybody has capabilities to be impact players. They're just players.
Okay, so that was what Cam said, and that was a pretty wild take to say about your former teammates. And so Steve Smith Sr. went on Twitter and responded to the Cam Newton video and replied, 53-man locker room minus 1 equals 52 losers. Wow, breaking news to 89 with an angry emoji. And then he also doubled down as he tweeted at Cam, I've watched and listened to you from afar as you, Cam, talk about the Panthers. None of us are perfect. Yes, we were 2-14 before you blessed us with your presence. The way you have talked about the Panthers lately, I'm very disappointed. I wish you nothing but the very best. I'm done. Okay, so uncharacteristically, Steve Smith Sr. took the high road and kindly told Cam Newton he was tripping for his takes. Honestly, for Cam to say these words about his former teammates is pretty wild, and he's been on a run with these wild comments as of late, and I'm pretty sure it's rubbing others in the league the wrong way, especially considering it's coming from Cam Newton, who a lot of people had issues with in the past for his refusal to jump on the football in the Super Bowl, to his overall demeanor after losing the game, and just a plethora of other things. Steve, on the other hand, was a dog on and off the field, and I don't think you can find anyone in the league that would disagree with that statement. Dude was a baller and always played with his heart, so I got no problems with him calling Cam out here. What Cam Newton said was pretty offensive if you're a teammate. I mean, he had some big-time players he played along with the likes of Luke Kuechly, Greg Olsen, on top of Steve Smith Sr. Anyways, guys, what do you all think about what Cam Newton said? Was he out of pocket or just speaking the truth?